Hello there, my name's Kevin Graham and welcome to a Celtic State of Mind. Today I'm joined by Paul John Dykes.
Hello.
And we're also joined by Liam McGrandles.
Hello.
Liam is a well-kent face round about the Celtic circuit. He plays at the Kerrydale Bar and he's played at a number of supporters functions. So Liam, tell us about your Celtic story growing up. Did you go to the games? Who took you to the games? What's your Celtic team?
I did. Growing up, obviously I'm the youngest of 8, so I've got 4 older brothers. They're all a good bit older than me. I was 10 years behind everybody else. So my oldest big brother's got 20 years on me. And
wow.
I know, there's a fair gap. But he took me to my first games. And just growing up around the house, it was just, everything was about Celtic. Where the males were concerned, every conversation was pretty much around Celtic. And my dad was brilliant for a Celtic story. When he was putting you to bed, he would just tell you a wee... He was like, what about the time me and my Uncle James were at the European Cup semi-final against Leeds? He says, we went into the back of the stand at Hampden, our feet didn't touch the ground, and by half-time, we were at the front. He says, by the full-time whistle, we were back up the back again. They tell you piece by piece how the game went and everything, so it just gave you a great knowledge of the history of the club. He told me stories for going way back to sort of stories about Bertie Peacock and guys like that as well, and just... The whole family was kind of immersed in it, aye. So
your brother took you to a game. So when roughly was your first game, or can you remember vividly your first game?
I can remember the first game vividly. It was at Love Street. It was a 2-0 Celtic. Pat Bonner saved a penalty, and that, as a young boy, that was just one of my memories for the game. And Peter Grant came over to take a shy right in front of us, and I sort of leaned over the wall to try and grab him. He was about a metre away from me, and I nearly had him there, And it's just one of the memories you just never forget. So that would have been 89, I think.
89.
I think it was 89, aye.
So the start of a bleak period.
Aye.
For being a Celtic fan.
It was, that's what I was raised on, aye. It was.
It's a decent grounding. All these young whippersnappers like Declan that's in the room with us who, born after 1996...
wouldn't know anything of it. No.
They've never had it so good.
I know they'll say Love Street. What's that? Love Street.
So how did you travel to the games?
We went in the Neely Mockin supporters bus for Denny. I can't remember if it was called the Neely Mockin at that point, but it was the main bus that left for Denny.
Would it not be the Denny and St Ninians at that point?
It possibly would have been. It possibly would have been at that time, that's right.
Aye.
It was Denny and St Ninians at some point as well. I was too young to actually remember, but obviously it's now known as the Neely Mockin CSC. Mm-hmm. But that was going back a wee while. Going
on a supporters bus gives you that sort of camaraderie, eh?
Of course.
You talk about family telling you stories, but then the stories that you hear on the supporters buses and
just add to that, of course.
Just add to it.
Of course.
I think supporters buses are great for the Celtic support and keeping myths, legends,
of course,
and songs
That's so
going.
True. Eh? Exactly. Young guys mixing with older guys, passing stories down and things. Aye, definitely.
Yeah. So it's a huge part of the experience of getting into the club, isn't it?
100%. Like going to the games, going the Celtic supporters bus, and when you got old enough, just going for a pint before the game as well was just like
it's a day out.
Or whoever you were away, going for a pint and getting left outside the pub.
A packet of crisps.
Have another packet of crisps or another can of juice.
What
be half an hour.
What pub did you get left outside?
It was the Straw House, as it was known then. It's the 5 Ways In now.
All right.
That was, again, gone back a wee while, but there was a wee alley, I'm sure, down the side of it. And I always remember you could order a pint and sort of stand at the wee alley at the side. So there was 5 or 6 grown men drinking outside, and their boys were just standing there waiting to go to the game. But I loved it.
I was always the Black Bull.
Black Bull, aye.
I was always standing outside the Black Bull.
Memories. The thing, again, I always find, Liam, is being brought up in a Celtic family is the songs as well. So you would be surrounded with stories and tales, and maybe 2-3 generations above you talking about Celtic, and you get immersed in that history. But again, there would always be a sing-song at the New Year, and that's how you get to know a lot of the traditional Irish folk songs.
That's it.
Is that how you got an introduction into your music as well?
100%, aye. My dad was a really good singer, and he sang loads of old sort of folk songs, but his speciality was an old song, The Old Bog Road, and that was probably the first Irish song that ever sort of stuck in my head. And then he would have the music playing in the kitchen like most days, especially the weekend and things. So it was like Paddy Riley, Luke Kelly, the Dubliners, the Furies, guys like that, like proper old school. Like, he absolutely loved it. And I just grew up around it all the time, and you're not realising at the time, but you're just taking all these songs in. And as a young boy, a lot of the older, slower folk songs, you didn't appreciate them back then, but as you get older, you're like, what a song that is. Like Dublin, the Rare Old Times and things like that. And when I was younger, you'd listen to it and you'd go, my dad's listening to these songs again. But it wasn't until you were older that you'd properly really appreciate the songs. Oh,
definitely 100%. An age thing. It's like only recently I got into the green fields of France, whereas if you'd played that to me when I was 14, 15, it would have gone right over my head.
That's so true, aye.
But Luke Kelly, so was he a big influence on you as well when you hear that rasp in his voice?
Oh, love Luke Kelly, definitely. Just that sound that he produced. I listened to lots of the Dubliner stuff as well, but like for your guys that boomed songs out, say Luke Kelly and Paddy Riley, there wasn't many better than them two, definitely not.
So the first song you're going to play us then, could you tell us a wee bit about this one?
Yeah, Streets in New York. Again, it's one of the first songs I can ever remember growing up. My dad listened to this song, my older brothers all listened to it. It was a song that everybody tended to sing in the house, and obviously I've incorporated it into my set over the years. It's just one of the songs that, if you know it properly gets you. The words of the song are...
It's a fantastic
It's
song.
a great song.
Love
It's an
song.
absolutely brilliant song.
So here's Liam McGrandles with Streets of New York.
I was 18 years old when I went down to Dublin with a fistful of money and a cartload of dreams. Take your time, said me father, stop rushing like hell. Remember, all is not what it seems to be. For those fellas would catch you for the coats on your back, or the watch that you got from your mother. So take care, me young bucko, and mind yourself well, and will you give this wee note to me brother? At the time, Uncle Benji was a policeman in Brooklyn. Me father, the youngest, looked after the farm. When a phone call from America to send the lot over, the old fella said, shoot, it wouldn't do any harm. For I spent my life working this dirty old grounds, bought a few pints of porter and the smell of a pound. And maybe there's something you learn, and you'll see, and you can bring it back home. Make it easy on me. So I landed at Kennedy, and a big yellow taxi carried me and me bags through the streets and the rain. Well, me poor heart was thumping around with excitement, and I hardly even heard what the driver was saying. We came in the short pathway to the flatlands in Brooklyn, to my uncle's apartments on the East 53rd. I was feeling so happy, I was humming his song. They sang, you're as free as a bird. Well, a shot in the story, what I found out that day was that Benji got shot down in an uptown foray. And while I was flying my way to New York, poor Benji was lying in a cold city morgue. Well, I phoned up the old fella, told him the news. I could tell he could hardly stand up in his shoes. And he wept as he told me, go ahead with the plan, and not you forget, be a proud Irishman. So I went up to Nellie's beside Fordham Road, and I started to learn about lips in the low. But the heaviest thing that I carried that year was the bittersweet thoughts of my hometown so dear. I went home that December 'cause the old fella died, and I borrowed the money from a fella on the side. And all the bright flowers and the brass couldn't hide the poor wasted face of me father. I sold up the old farmyard for what it was worth. Into my bag stuck a handful of earth. Then I boarded a train and I caught me a plane, and I found myself back in the US again. It's been 22 years since I set foot in Dublin. Me kids not to use the correct knife and fork, but I'll never forget the green grass and the rivers as they keep law and order on the streets of New York. Na 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 na. Na 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 na.
So when you first picked up a guitar, was it Irish folk music that you started playing, or was there other musical influences in plays? Were you in a grunge band or a grebo band or
a boy band?
A boy band, aye. When I first picked up a guitar, I was about 15, 16. I'd played the piano for, well, I say played the piano, I could play about 2 or 3 songs. My mum played a bit of piano and she showed us a few songs when I was younger. So I got a keyboard for my Christmas when I was about 7. And then I learned about 3 or 4 songs, proper dodgy. Just whatever was in a book that was in front of me, sort of thing.
You have to tell us one of them.
Well, I was listening to like MC Scooter and things like that when I was I'm talking when I was like 8, 9 years old, so that's what I was playing. But now when I got my first guitar, it was I was playing a few Irish folk songs and things, but it was mainly bands like Cast, Shade 7, Oasis, bands like that, Stone Roses and things like that. And as you say, as you get older, you take more in, you try and learn a more eclectic mix of songs and things like that, and that just happened naturally.
What made you start doing the pubs and the clubs then? When did that start?
Well, when I started doing pubs and clubs and things, I would have been about 23, and I had messed about in a couple of bands and things the year or 2 before. No making a penny, just doing our own stuff, we weren't up too much, a gig or 2 here or there. And then my missus was expecting her first daughter, her first child, so pretty much she had to go on maternity leave for her work and things, and we're like, we are skint here, what are we going to do for cash? So my suggestion was, I was like, I could go about a couple of pubs and play a few gigs, maybe get a few extra quid. To me, I thought just a few extra quid at the weekend would tide us by, would be okay. I thought she'd have just says no outright. She'd have like, no chance, because I had to buy a new guitar. So she was like, we'll get a try. So I had £300 savings on us, and we went into a guitar shop in Falkirk and bought a guitar. And my first gig was in my cousin's pub. So I'd said to my cousin, we were talking to each other at a funeral, and I said, listen, I'm thinking about doing a few gigs, and could you set me up with a gig in the Boozer? So she said, aye, no bother, I'll get back to you. But I kind of thought, she'll never get back to me, she's no fancying this. And it was about 2 or 3 weeks later, she gave me the shout to do it, and I'm like, totally underprepared. So I said, I've only got about an hour's worth of material here. I'm going to be struggling. She went, I'll tell you what today, just play your hour, take half an hour's break, go back on, play the same stuff again, everybody will be too drunk to notice. And it was like getting thrown into the lion's den. It was It was the Old Vic in Falkirk, so great boozer, a good Celtic pub. So I went in, played an hour, done as she said, like ran out of material, went and took a break, had a pint, and went back on, done the same again. Only one guy in the pub noticed. He came up to me and he was like, "You've played this song before, son." I didn't answer for him. I was just like, "Right, yeah, maybe I have not realised, sorry." But no, I got the pay packet and went home all chuffed. I'd been paid for my music, so that was the first time I'd ever had cold hard cash in my hand for doing a gig. So I booked a few gigs locally. To be honest, I was pretty raw to start with, pretty terrible, being the word, but I basically just stuck with it, kept ploughing away, phoned places and things, and over the course of a year or two, you tended to find you were improving slowly, slowly but surely, and it sort of just grew from there.
So the second song, Roughcast and Rain, an original track?
It's an original song, aye. This is going to be in my new album, and it basically is just a song about growing up in Denny. It could apply to anybody that's grown up in a small town or a council scheme. Hopefully the words resonate with people that have. I basically just wrote it as you see it, sort of thing. So here it is.
Here's Liam McGrandles with Roughcast and Rain.
It's council houses, public houses, playing fields and halls. It's hand-me-downs, it's passed-arounds, it's old familiar walls. It's pulling on your sambas and it's giving it your all. It's walking home on tired streets in the town where you grew tall. It's who you are, where you come from, it's your roots and it's your name, it's who you love, it's what you're made of, it's all the same. Roughcast and Rain. It's on the rank outside here in the 4:35. It's picking up your winnings, but it's barely getting by. It's what foot to your kickway, it's punted long and high. It's drunken fights, it's ladder tights, it's bruises and black eyes. It's who you are, it's where you come from, it's your roots, and it's your name, it's who you love, it's what you're made of, it's all the same. Roughcast and Rain. It's time that flies, it's long goodbyes, it's smiling through the pain. It's knowing that you'd give your last to see that face again. It's thinking back to all the crack when we were lonely ways. It's raise a glass to those who've passed, we'll do it all again. It's who you are, it's where you come from, it's your roots, and it's your name, it's who you love, it's what you're made of, it's all the same. Roughcast and Rain. It's who you are, it's where you come from, it's your roots, and it's your name, it's who you love, it's what you're made of, it's all the same. Roughcast and Rain. Thank you.
How did you get involved playing at Celtic Park? Obviously a big Celtic fan coming from a massive Celtic family in a massive Celtic area.
Aye.
So it must have been the dream come true when you get that phone call to get a gig at Celtic
amazing,
Park?
absolutely amazing. It was through the affiliation of Celtic supporters clubs. It was a guy, Duncan Sinclair, who was running a bus at the time. He had phoned us on behalf of them and said, we're looking for you to do a gig in one of the lounges. It was before the League Cup final against the Rangers. We lost that game, obviously, incidentally. But he said, would you do an hour or two in one of the lounges before the game? So I was like, at Celtic Park? He was like, aye. And I'm like, are you sure? He says, aye. So I'm like on the phone to the full family. I've got a gig at Celtic Park here. I was like absolutely over the moon, delighted. But nervous and apprehensive too. But went and done it, and it couldn't have went any better. So there was a good few sort of Celtic supporters clubs sort of gathered there through the affiliation. The Champions Lounge, as it's called, but the place was bouncing. It was a great gig. It was before the buses left to go to Hampden. So basically it couldn't have went any better. From there, it was about a week or two later, got a phone call from Celtic themselves saying they'd liked what I'd done in the lounge and things. One of their guys had seen it and said, would you play in the Jockstein Lounge for a game? So went and done that, went really well. And I'd done bits and pieces over the course of about 6 months for them, just before big games and things, for hospitality lounges and whatever. And then it was probably about a year or two after that, I'm not sure the timeline exactly, I got a phone call off a guy, David Stodders, he's like the head of catering up there. And he said, we're opening a supporters bar in the Kerrydale suite sort of thing. It's going to be open to all sort of thing, first come, first served basis. Would you like the gig? So I kind of just thought he meant the opening day. I had the gig. And I says, aye, definitely. I says, I'll be there. And he says, would you like it permanently, as in like every home game? And I'm like, this is too good to be true. Who's landed this in my lap? But I came off the phone, it was like I'd won the lottery. I'm like, this is amazing. But so I agreed to it, went up and done it. First season, first few sort of games up there, the Kerrydale being open, it was amazing. So there's maybe about 800-900 people. I'm not sure the exact amount. It's jam packed and it's a great atmosphere, great setup as well with the stage and everything. So to go for playing in pubs and wee clubs and that to the Kerrydale was a big jump, but it was welcome. It was brilliant.
So every fortnight you're basically playing 800-900.
Aye, that's it.
Obviously, that sort of level of gig gives you a knock-on effect.
Definitely.
And did you find that your bookings went up, or was there a lot of things that you had to knock back because of the gig that you have with Celtic? Yeah,
there was a few things I had to knock back, but there was a lot of other doors opened as well. Aye, definitely. It was a different kind of gig you were getting offered after that. It was you offered much more sort of Celtic supporters clubs and things, and like you just noticed wee things like your Facebook and like your Twitter and things like that. You go for like 30 followers to like 1,000 plus in the space of a couple of weeks, and you're like, what's going on? Celtic are obviously retweeting the Kerrydale stuff, and people come on follow you, and you're like, wow, this is brilliant. But I'm not a big one for social media, to be honest, but it was a strange experience. Like, it was good.
When did you feel, Liam, that your songwriting came to the fore as well? Obviously you've been steeped in this history and you've got the Irish background and you're singing these songs. When did you think, right, I could put a few of my songs on a level with these?
The first time I ever actually had the confidence to do it was when I recorded the album for the Celtic Foundation. At first I wasn't planning on putting any of my own songs on it. I'd approached Tony Hamilton, and at the Celtic Foundation had given me a lot of gigs over the course of that sort of season, over that year. And when you're at their dinners and things, you see that absolute amazing job that they do and how much they give back and things. I was like, well, I want to sort of do my part for this instead of just doing gigs, getting paid for it sort of thing. So I said to Tony, we could do a live recording in the Kerrydale and sell it as a CD. Just if you, nothing to lose if you fancy it. I kind of thought he'd have just said no, to be honest, but I thought I'll offer it. So he says, definitely, we'll go with it. So he phoned me back a couple of days later and he says, we're good to go with the album. He says, but the marketing guys aren't keen on doing a live recording. They'd rather do it in the studio. So he says, can you spare some time to get in a studio and record? I basically had no spare time in my hands whatsoever. I was like, between kids and singing and things like that, I says, I'm struggling a bit. So we basically had to record this album over 2 days. And it was a few days before we went in, we'd semi-agreed on the track listing for the CD. And I was on the phone to Tony. And I thought, will I put this in? Will I not? I says, Tony, could I fire one of my own songs on it? A Celtic song. He says, have you written one? And then here comes like the great lie. I had an idea for a song in my head. That was as far as it went. I says, I've got a song written. It's all prepared and it's ready to go. He says, that's great. He says, I'll be in the studio so you can let me hear it when you come up. And I'm like, why have I done this to myself? So
there's nothing like a deadline.
Have you ever told Tony this story?
I've never told him that. Hopefully he doesn't listen to this. But, so I never had a song. I never had the song in front of me. I had a part of a tune in my head. So I thought, I'll need to get this written. So I sat down with a case of beer that night and sort of got the main part of the song written. First 3 verses, choruses, got the tune sorted out, the chords, and I just needed a last verse. And I was like, I'm really struggling. But it was about 2 a.m. So I went away up to my bed, and then I was driving up to the studio to meet Tony and the guy who would record the album. So I wrote the last verse in my head, driving up to Livingston to the studio, and I'm like, I've got to play this to these guys here. This is pressure. So I got there, and Tony just looked at me as he does. He was like, well, play us this song then. I hadn't even played it all the way through until then. I wasn't even sure of the chords, but I played it as good as I could have. I probably never played it as good since. Nailed it, played it. He's like, it's brilliant. Put it on the album. So that's the White and the Green. Aye, that's how that was written.
So is that a song that you want to play us today then?
Definitely, yeah. I'll play that now.
He clapped for the poor, for their fruit had spoken. All cultures, all creeds, we will welcome them all. Our spirits and pride will never be broken. His words resonated round St. Mary's Hall. 125 years, his story of glory and tears. This is the story of Celtic, tale of the white and the green, the white and the green, the white and the green. Then came a man, the bold Willie Maley. He brought us great names like McGrory and Quinn. The faithful would come, they'd come in their thousands. They'd come for a glimpse of this glorious team. The Celts were a club on the rise, and Glasgow's East End came alive. This is the story of Celtic, the tale of the white and the green, the white and the green, the white and the green. Down through the years, we've seen many heroes. Johnston, McNeil, Tommy Burns, Paul McStay. The jungle will roar, the whole world will hear us. This is a place where legends are made. In Lisbon, Seville and Milan, They've written a story so grand. They've written the story of Celtic, the tale of the white and the green, the white and the green, the white and the green. Wherever you roam, wherever life takes you, when the wind shakes you, remember these words. Our spirits and prides will never be broken, for we are all part of the white and the green. 125 years, a story of glory and tears. This is the story of Celtic, the tale of the white and the green. 125 years, a story of glory and tears. This is the story of Celtic, the tale of the white and the green, the white and the green, the white and the green. Thank you.
Well, you're in good company, because when Noel Gallagher was going to go and record Shaker Maker, they had a verse which was, I'd like to teach the world to sing. And he was told on the day that they went to record it, you can't use that, you better write another verse. And the verse that he wrote was whilst driving past Mr. Sifter's shop.
That's right.
In Manchester.
Brilliant.
So it obviously works.
It works. It definitely works. Just do it there and then. When the pressure's on, it tends to work, aye.
It's like us two. We come here with no questions, totally unprepared.
Just winging it. That's the way to do it, aye.
I was at Celtic AM last week and I was doing some spoken word and I actually changed my Paul McStay piece on the train on the way up. It was just like...
Sometimes you can overthink it as well, I know. That's what I tend to do sometimes. What will I play? What will I say? But aye.
You've got a new album out, eh? You recorded a new album.
It is not out yet. I'm still recording it. So it's with I'm recording it with the same guys that I recorded the White and the Green with. It's a guy that, again, Tony Hamilton introduced me to sports media up in Livingston. So he's basically building the tracks up for me just now. And I've got 4 days to go and record guitar and vocals and things. So that's underway just now. So I'm very excited about getting it out.
What's the subject matter?
Subject matter is Irish folk, and also grown up in I would say a council estate, or it's merged into one. But the main sort of sound of it is a sort of Celtic sound. But the subject matter of a few of the songs are what I know, as in like growing up in Denny, growing up in a small town, and a lot of the songs sort of revolve around that.
And when should we expect to see this for sale?
I would say safely 2 months. I'm hoping maybe a month.
You've still to write it, haven't you?
It's all written. It's 5 originals and it's 7 old style sort of covers. Aye. So there's a good track listing on there. So really looking forward to getting it out.
And where can we find you online so that when this comes out, Liam will be aware of it?
Best place to get me is on Twitter, which is McGrandles _Liam, or on Facebook, just in my own name. I'm currently sort of setting up a new Facebook page for that purpose, to sort of market my album through and things as well. That is pretty much the way to go these days, I think, for the audience that I'm aiming for. So
it's great that you're able to do it independently now, and we've found that doing this podcast, that you can record stuff, put it out yourself, promote it yourself.
Definitely. And
it's really gives you that independent mind, the fan media. And also you've got a big following online, you've got a big following within the Celtic support as well. So there's a groundswell there. What you hoping the album brings?
Loads of money. No, I would be happy with a few hundred people going out and buying it. See a few hundred people listening to my songs, I would be so chuffed. I would be delighted with that. There's something brilliant about people knowing the words to your songs, or people come up to you and saying, "Oh, that's a great song you've written." I absolutely love that. Absolutely love it. And that's why I do it.
And the final song you're going to play us today, Liam, the John Thomson song, a song close to my heart, being a fellow Fifer. What can you tell us about your affair with this song?
This song, again, one of the earliest Celtic songs I remember. My oldest brother, Martin, was a goalie, and he just loved this song. He had an old Glenn Daly LP, and he sort of played that on repeat for a few years. And the John Thomson song was just one of the songs that's basically stuck with me for years and years. So I decided to put it on the album for the Celtic Foundation. And it was Tony that he said, I don't think this has been recorded by anybody for Celtic since probably Glenn Daly. I may be wrong, but so I was delighted to do it.
A young man named John Thomson, from the Wellesley Fife he came to play for Glasgow Celtic and to make himself a name. On the 50th of September, against the Rangers club he played. From defeat he saved the Celtic, but what a price he paid. The ball rolled from the centre, young John ran out and died. The ball rolled by, young John lay still, for his club this hero died. Well, I took a trip to Parkhead, to the dear old paradise, and as the players came out, sure the tears fell from my eyes, for a famous face was missing from the green and white brigades. They told me Johnny Thomson, his last game he had played. Farewell, my darling Johnny, Prince our players we must part. No more we'll stand and cheer you on the slopes of Celtic Park. The fans, they all are silent as they travel near and far. No more they'll cheer John Thomson, their bright and shining star. So come, all you Glasgow Celtic, stand up and play the game. For between your posts there stands a ghost, Johnny Thomson is his name. For between your posts there stands a ghost, Johnny Thomson is his name.
Thank you.
So you got any plans to do like a album launch gig where you're going to be doing?
Yep. I did a St Patrick's Day gig in Denny this year. It was in the Chapel Hall. It was in the Crypt Hall in Denny, and so sold about 150 tickets for it, and it was brilliant, great atmosphere. Everybody loved it. I'm sort of thinking around the same thing as that, maybe have it there, or maybe with 2 or 3. As I say, I travel around a bit, so have one here, maybe have one sort of Stirling Falkirk way. I'm not sure. I've not really planned it out yet, but I definitely looking to get something to launch it. Get a few hundred under my belt first, and then just a wee boost to start off with.
Definitely give us a shout when the album launches, and we'll come and cover it. No problem whatsoever.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Look forward to that.
That'd be great.
Liam, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the podcast. Good luck in the future, and hail, hail.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Liam.
Thank
Pleasure.
you. Hail, hail.
A Celtic State of Mind's previous episodes can be accessed by searching iTunes, Spreaker, or your pre-installed podcast player. Make sure to subscribe and you won't miss our upcoming episodes with former players, musical icons, documentary makers and Celtic supporters. You can keep up to date with us and get in touch at Paul Dykes, at A Northern Pros and at Celtic Star Pod. We also have a new website, www.thecelticstar.com, and on that website we have a host of writers giving you daily Celtic news, including Jim Craig, who gives a morning blog. We also have contributors such as myself, Kevin Graham, David Potter and Scotty Allcroft. Tune in next week, we will have another guest with a Celtic State of Mind.